Welcome, everybody, to the show. Joining us is our co-host and fellow traveler, Dan, the Dan Noodles man, the Jeff Beck of Wargaming. Dan, how's it going tonight?
It's going, man. You?
I'm doing okay. Dan has acquired for himself a new toy, which has inspired the topic for this show, Wargaming technology. And there's some things we all already know about, of course. It does take some time to master here, folks. That is a theremin, for those who don't know. And the first time I saw one played, I was also baffled. So if you don't know, don't feel bad. It is obscure.
Yeah, no, I'm getting into. I'm going to get into synthesis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I swear to God, you can buy a major synthesizer for like $50 today. They're
so
miniatures.
What do we mean by synthesis? What do we mean by synthesizer? Are we talking about like a keyboard deal, or?
No, I'm just talking about the synth itself, meaning the buttons. So like voltage control oscillators and filters and shit like that. Create something that's totally useless.
Dan, you never told me you spoke Homeric Greek.
Well, yes.
Yeah, so there we go. Mr. Mark Herman is in the house. And thanks everybody else for showing out tonight. It's going to be a fine show. We're going to talk about wargaming technology. And I don't want to, we all know about Vassal and Tabletop Simulator and Rally the Troops and those platforms for playing games on. So at least if you're hanging around over here, you do. So I want to talk about how else folks leverage technology to help them to play war games. Dan and Matt Colville can be synth buddies. I suppose that's true.
Who's Matt Colville?
Matt Colville is was started out. I mean, he's an acquaintance from the RPG Net days of mine, and he worked for Last Unicorn Games for a while. I think he might have done some work with Wizards of the Coast. He was a big TTRPG guy. He started a D&D channel that blew up, and now he's a TTRPG publisher. His big new product is called Draw Steel. It is an action fantasy RPG, and I have given it a casual perusal via the internet and decided it is not for me. So, good Godspeed to Matt and the MDM Productions team. So
there's Charles Latour is in the house. Mike Bartuccelli's in the house. Brian Gash is in the house. Mark Herman is in the house. Stuka Jones in the house.
Joe's here. Yep. Mark just came back from Circle DC. Played Pericles and Rebel Fury. That's awesome.
It must be something for Mark or all these board game designers to go to these cons because they kind of have to play their games. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I guess they don't have to. Some players don't. Some designers don't play their own games. They've moved on to the next project. Mark seems to be not one of those fellas. So Charles Latour says technology is a very sharp pencil. Pencil sharpness has come a long way. I have not purchased or acquired, at least on purpose, an actual pencil that you have to sharpen in like 30 years. I started using mechanical pencils in high school for drafting class, and I have never gone back to regular pencils. I have a whole drawer here full of mechanical pencils here, and some of which are slightly fancy mechanical pencils, but I don't have any.
Well, yeah, some of them are quite expensive, as a matter of fact.
That's true, but I top out at about $7 or $8 per pencil, if you ask me. So we can see Georgie is making a guest appearance here on the Chit show this evening as well. He just exited camera. Dan has been released from custody and has been back with us. And somebody mentioned the greatest of all polygons, the hexagon, which is a true genius. We do have the ancient Greeks to thank for that as well. So, interesting. There's Georgie being like abused by Dan. Dave Poirier uses a calculator to play La Bataille. I have used a calculator. I didn't use it to play La Bataille. I just did the basics math in my head. But that's where a calculator could screw you up too. I think I did bring a calculator and use that to play Gauss, because that actually uses a percentile system. I think it might be Gauss, that has a very awkward terminology around that, where they call it 2d10, but it isn't 2d10, it's percentile. Of course, back in the old days, I'd use a calculator for Rollmaster, of course. And I've still got that calculator, actually. It wasn't an expensive calculator at the time. But we had somebody at the table that insisted on doing all their counts, another percentile-based game, so you might have to add 3 or 4 different 2 or maybe even 3-digit numbers together. He did it all longhand, the old-fashioned way like they taught us in grammar school, and we all hated that. I was like, you're slowing down here. Why will you just not use a calculator for this calculation? It is not like you super fast. If you could do it in your head, that's fine, but I couldn't quite handle it for every calculation in my head, so I used a calculator, and I think that's completely fine. Mike Berticelli, I know. Mike Berticelli is headed to GMT West, which is coming up very soon, running to some tank duel games, which sounds like a lot of fun as well.
Mike, are you going to San Diego HISCON North? A slide rule.
I've never used a slide rule, actually. I don't know how to use a slide rule. I'd be curious, but if
the ruler slides, how can you take exact measurements? No,
that's not what it's for. It's not a ruler. It is a slide rule. It is an analog calculator.
You don't work with me here, Jesus.
So, I'm just saying. Yeah, I've seen this done a couple of times in Wargaming. I'm not sure I've seen it in RPGs because that got kind of ironed out early on. There's also things like, and I don't want to say like dice towers and things like that are necessarily technological. I mean, they are, but we invented them a long time ago, so we don't have to worry about that. Somebody mentioned the idea of throwing the ASL rulebook into Chat GPT and getting questions answered, and I think that is actually a good idea.
That's amazing.
I would use Notebook LM for that, because that's kind of what Notebook LM is designed to do. So that's just a different AI tool. It's something from Google.
Look at that, Mark Herman. He's not working with me either. He's trying to piss me off.
Not getting any slack from Mark tonight either.
Jesus, Mark.
Yeah, I probably missed this by about 10 years. I think if I'd hit high school, or even like maybe 8th grade, about a decade earlier, I think they probably would have taught us how to use these. My dad had one. Never saw him use it either. So, and this is exactly right. And it won't necessarily give you the precision that a calculator will, but it will give you, it's an engineering calculating tool, right? So
why don't you just use a calculator, for God's sakes, man?
Well, we have those now. Nobody even has calculators anymore. We all got these devices so the government can tell what we're doing. So, and it does everything that we need it to do. It plays videos, it plays music, it substitutes for the phone book. I mean, it does everything that all these different things used to do, and it's simultaneously both incredibly useful and incredibly oppressive.
He was a lady.
So, somebody else mentioned using a tablet for rule books, and this is indeed one of the reasons why I picked up a tablet at one point. I haven't used it in a while. Actually, it's sitting in a drawer at the moment because it's a nice big screen. In Wargaming, our rule books tend to be PDFs, and they tend to be hard to read on your phone. But I would do it on my tablet and just read rules on the tablet. I do prefer to have the physical rule book, or a physical rule book. It doesn't matter who printed it out, at the table. For rules referencing, because I'm still faster looking stuff up with an actual rule book. So,
Artie, how do you dump all that information into Chat GPT?
Chat GPT, I'm not sure, but in Notebook LM, you just like add source files, and then you like start a chat with the source files, and the machine, the evil AI will interrogate it for you.
Like I'm a little baby. I know nothing about computers.
I will tell you how I have leveraged that exact tool. Is I've got a lot of Traveler material, as folks know. So I wanted to see what kinds of extensions for world generation were available in the various products, and there are because there's like several different ones. And what it can do is tell you, okay, so in this book, you get this system, and in this book, you get this system, and in this book, you get this other system. And I think there were 3 total, which means I didn't have to try to remember which book exactly that like the deep space objects rules are in, like how do we handle black holes and neutron stars and stuff like that. There's rules for that. I didn't have to figure out where those rules were. So, and it will answer rules questions, but I haven't actually used it to do that.
So you still haven't answered my question.
What was the question?
How do you input the information?
You just drag and drop the files in.
Where do you get the files?
Well, I purchase from Mongoose Publishing directly for Traveler stuff most of the time, and you get the PDFs included for free.
Oh, so you just dumped a PDF in and that's it?
Yeah.
Then you ask it a question and it's going to give you the answer.
Well, it might not be the right answer. I mean, but like I said, I haven't tried asking it rules questions because just simply has not come up. But its ability to like correlate stuff across multiple documents has been handy a couple of times for me.
Well, you know what? Wargame technology, there is no greater thing than ChatGPT with the rules. None at all.
Well, like I said, I can't vouch for ChatGPT in this particular use case. I can only vouch for Notebook LM, which has been handy for me a couple of times. As Joe mentioned, this is actually a good point too. I love having a printer, like a color printer. Mine's a color laser printer, which is not that much more expensive than a color ink, like a good color inkjet. It's the toner where you get hit, and I'm out of toner. But on top of that, and my machine will handle relatively heavy paperweights, which will be good. You kind of got to fool with the settings. Haven't tried to do this on Linux yet, to kind of keep it under the heating elements a little longer, so the toner bakes onto the paper correctly. But then if it's like a play aid, I did this for On to Richmond 2 when we played that. I created like a turn record chart and like all the layout cards you need to manage all the markers off the map, and I laminated all those, because I've got a laminator as well, which will handle 11 by 17 laminations. I've yet to laminate anything that's 11 by 17, but I could.
Vince Reed just said that. What the?
I don't know what Dan's doing or what Georgie's doing right now.
I don't know. He found the ball. It's over.
Yeah.
Vince Reed is saying you will get a fast, comprehensive, occasionally correct answer. What are the stats on that? 50-50?
I don't know what the chance. No, it's better than 50-50, especially for what Notebook LM is intended to do, right? It's not just ChatGPT. When you go in, hi, ChatGPT, how are you doing? What do I, which Boston album was the best one? And ChatGPT, if it was correct, it would say, it doesn't matter which Boston album you buy. They all sound the same anyway. And I'm not sure it would give me that answer, but I haven't tried that. So Notebook LM works based off of your documents, right? It's not just like a general thing that you chat with, right? At least, as far as I've used it. I'm far from an expert on the topic of Notebook LM, and GI's AI assistant, Gemini, which you can link to Notebook LM. And before anybody brings this up, I am well aware of the concerns about AI. And I'm not going to try to downplay those concerns. Nevertheless, it is here and it is not going away. There are points at which things I don't particularly have warm fuzzies about that I have to learn to adapt to, and this is going to be in my opinion, it's going to be one of those things.
It's like humans; they're here. So, you got to deal with it.
Yeah, fucking humans. It's always humans that are the problem.
I'm telling you. I've been telling these people all the time. It's the humans.
Okay, so Danny Secretary says for ChatGPT, you have to pick the right prompts to get the best answers. For example, to explain to me like I have 5 outburst fireworks. This is true from my experience with LLMs. Is you really do have to, and they're all going to be probably different in this respect. You're going to have to learn more or less by trial and error what you want to tell it to do and the specific language you need to use to get the result you want. If
you might have just read the rule book and shut up. That's
specific result. Well, you should do that anyway. I mean, if I ever sit at a wargaming convention playing with somebody who's looking up how to play using ChatGPT, I think there's going to be an issue at that table. So,
what, a physical issue already? Eh?
So, speaking of which, we are, I don't know that this is formal announcement territory, folks, but we have a very exciting thing that we're going to be starting working on very soon, but it isn't going to actually happen until 2028. So,
what is it?
Campaign for North Africa.
I just saw something on Facebook about that.
Okay, well, it pops up on Facebook. It was on Big Bang Theory. It pops up on Facebook regularly. And I don't know that we'll be... I expect us to use technology in the form of spreadsheets to navigate the paperwork, the enormous amount of paperwork that's required to try and do that game. We'll see if it happens. There's a lot of planning that has to happen. We have to have the right number of people. But there's two of us who are pretty committed to this, and I'm one of them. So
in 2 years, you're going to do this.
Yeah, because I what I don't want to happen is what has happened a couple of times. I'm basing this on third-hand reports. So if I'm incorrect, somebody let me know who was there. Sometimes like 10 people show up to play it at Tempe or whatever, and nobody has tried it before. So they spend the whole week figuring it out. And we are going to we're going to try not to do that. We're going to try and get like vassal, sessions going beforehand, so we all kind of know, so everybody who's committed to it knows what they're doing, and we can try to make as much progress as we possibly can in a week. We get their deepest condolences from Mr.
Well, yeah, what is that? Well, what's he saying?
Well, Mark was Mark had a first-hand view of the composition of this legendary game.
Yes.
So but yeah, I think even on Board Game Geek, and I'll probably do it myself because that will be useful to me, is figuring it out, what all the dynamics look like and the math looks like. I will personally get more out of building that spreadsheet myself. But you can download stuff like this just from BGG.
I would load the rule book in ChatGPT regardless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is a bubble and it is going to burst, but it ain't going to burst quite yet. So, because a whole bunch of money is going into it right now.
Yeah. Don't mess with Elon.
From all over the place. So there you go. Vince Ree retired from Oracle because he has no faith in their debt up to their eyeballs AI ambitions. I think a lot of this is going to happen a lot, actually. It is just a question of when. But the question of LLMs it's not gonna disappear tomorrow because people don't like it. It's here to stay. Sorry. Vince
is not the first person I hear that they quit Oracle. Is this a philosophical argument?
Well, I mean, there's every job has disaffected people who leave because they got tired of whatever bullshit the company was doing, right? I mean, that's not unique to Oracle by any means. Pretty sure, Mark, that I do have the OB read. I'll let you know if I don't, though. It's probably time I got to do some stuff with the table, and then I can pull it down and see what we got. Yeah,
but Mark has a copy of it written by Richard Berg and by hand.
Possibly. Which would be worth having a photocopy of, actually. Danny says a lot of white-collar jobs are going to be taken over by AI, and I'm a snowball. Yeah, well, this already happened with blue-collar jobs over the course of like the whole Industrial Revolution, right? So, although we weren't drawing that distinction at the time, it's because white-collar jobs are not safe for it anymore either. So, this could have devastating effects on the entire economy. It could. I'm not going to say it won't.
George, really? You have to ask, please?
So Mike Berticelli had something that I wanted to touch on here about, well, there we go, Wolfpack. Mike Berticelli uploaded the Wolfpack rulebook and asked a bunch of questions, and a few of the answers didn't sound right, and he found out that the rule was written incorrectly, so it's a pretty good tool for designers. Yeah, that's interesting, because it is, and this is actually my use case for ChatGPT right now, is having it like check to see if, in this case, code is going to disintegrate on contact with a user. So it's good for consistency checking and stuff like that. So if that's not to say that everything it's going to tell you is going to be accurate, it might not be. So I'm not sure if this is correct or not. This may be at the plan level because I actually have the plan at this point for what I'm doing. It's just too useful to not. So that may be something you have to pay for to be able to just drop files into your ChatGPT.
I must be a dinosaur here because I don't do anything that these guys are commenting about. George, Stuka Joe, Perfidious Albion.
Joe's got the easy laminator, 60-foot replacement rolls, two-sided lamination, or about $30. That's pretty good, actually. I mean, I'm not like laminating everything in sight, right? Oh, let's laminate the cat today. Hey, you're right. Perfidious Albion's right about this too. This is going to put a huge strain on our very aging electrical grid, at least in this country.
Yeah, so. Danny, I know you're a nerd.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I mean...
we're trying to get to the bottom of the chat now.
Holy cow, I'm out of the loop here, something fierce.
Yeah.
Maybe I was never in the loop.
As Molotov Cocktail points out, just because it's here doesn't mean you can't use it ethically. When Photoshop arrived, it was still wrong to use other people's work. Same with Xerox before. It took a while, but courts ended up agreeing. And ultimately, that's what's going to happen here as well.
Artie, you just said you can't, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't mean you can't use it ethically. Do you know where we live? Do you know where we live?
Where we live is a place in which we have to answer ethical questions every day, whether we think about those ethical questions or not. Everyone is going to have a personal line beyond which they will not go. And it's just a matter of where your personal line is. I mean, every time I buy something from Amazon, I got to think about, well, Amazon's a pretty shitty company. But I really want to pay. And, we do. So sorry, but you got to make decisions, or you've got to go live in a cabin in the wilderness. So, and I can't do that. So sorry.
I want to do that. I want to live in a cabin in the wilderness.
I mean, that'd be cool, but there's no game store near the cabin in the woods. That's my problem.
It's okay. It's okay.
Unless it's in Wisconsin, then there might be. This is true too. Or people who just can't get out for whatever reason. It's not necessarily that they're too old and infirm. It's that maybe they have a job that they're on call all the time and they can do vassal play by mail and it's no problem. But if you ask them to have to commit to like a session, at a specific time in a specific place, then maybe that's something they can't do.
Look at Boomerman Dan Webb. Ethically isn't morality. Yeah. And
well, that's true. They are not the same thing.
Well, what is morality? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a deeper, frankly, that's not a concept that we are going to explore here on this show this evening.
I want to talk about it.
The philosophers have been discussing this exact topic for thousands of years, and we are not going to make any progress on that question here tonight.
I'd love to talk about
that. That is not what we are here for. We are here to have a good time. And I don't. So there we go.
Let's talk about Schopenhauer.
I want to talk about. Oh, I can do that. Tell us about Schopenhauer, Dan.
I use German.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know much about Schopenhauer.
Thanks for coming, folks, to our in-depth webinar on Schopenhauer this evening.
I think I'm more of a Nietzsche, Camus kind of guy.
Okay, so Schopenhauer was a philosopher and not a composer.
Are you thinking of Schoenberg?
I've never heard of Schoenberg. I've never taken a philosophy. That's not true. I took logic, which is technically a philosophy class, but we didn't talk about any of these people or Nietzsche or anybody like that. I've heard of Nietzsche because he is mentioned in two places where I've seen him a lot. One is, of course, in A Fish Called Wanda, where Kevin Kline's character quotes him a couple of times in an imbecilic way by design. And in the opening screens of the original Conan the Barbarian from 1983 or 82 or whatever that was. So that is how I know who Nietzsche was. I did investigate a little bit of Nietzsche at one point.
Yeah, he was a pessimist, huh?
Yeah, in a way, yeah, I would say that. He has also been misunderstood. Again, this is a topic we're not going to get into tonight, but he has frequently been misunderstood by later commentators who haven't read his actual stuff, and without taking into account the time gap between Nietzsche and Nazi Germany. So,
yeah.
that is not to say that Nietzsche had everything, all of his bolts were tightened down. That is not accurate.
Well, look, man, any philosopher doesn't have his bolts tightened down because they're nuts. They see everything.
That's true. Your wife must be better at cooking eggplant than I am, because I've made it several times and it's been gross. So,
Mark is taking a piss at me. That's what he's doing, okay?
Oh, well, yes, that's undoubtedly true, as is myself and many of the other members of the chat this evening. So,
yeah, Georgie.
Oh, listen to him making all that noise.
That's the cat.
I know it's the cat, Dan. I got 5 cats here. You think they don't make noise? Holy cow.
Yeah, he's pissed at Mark. He's pissed at Mark.
Is Mark the cat? Georgie is coming after you. I'm afraid your days are numbered. So, yeah, I think like soaking it or something like that is the answer. And I haven't.
Yeah, but he forgot one special ingredient when you soak it, Mark. You put salt.
Okay, I mean that kind of makes sense.
Well, yeah, yes. I out all the bitterness.
I didn't say I didn't know how to cook eggplant. I said I didn't know how to cook eggplant and make it taste good at the end. Those are 2 completely different skill levels there. I can cook, but I haven't really mastered eggplant, and my wife doesn't like it, so I don't.
You know what, Artie? Buy an eggplant tomorrow. Cut a 1 centimeter piece, fry it with olive oil and eat it like that. Then come back to me and tell me you don't like it.
Well, I'll give just frying it in olive oil a chance. I've grilled it. I've done a couple things with it, and it just hasn't. So, the Big Lebowski. That's true. That's true. So hilariously, we went to when the casino opened in Columbus, Ohio. My wife and I went there just for lulz, and I think we had like $20 or $30 each. So it was like we were not big wheels going in there, and all we touched were slot machines, which may have been all they had at the time and might still be for all I know. And my money was gone in less than a minute. It was gone. So I'm like wandering around the casino trying to find my wife, and there she is in front of the Lord of the Rings slot machine. And she played for like another hour on the $20 that we walked in there with. I might as well have flushed my 20 down the toilet. This is actually a good idea. Pressing the nasty eggplant blood out of it might help.
Mark, yes. But I don't have all the time in the world to wait for all the bitterness to come out. So I salt it half an hour. It's done. Come on.
I've had other people's eggplant that has been at least edible. I just haven't managed it yet.
Once you know how to cook eggplant, which is simple, it's hella good, man.
Well, I'll keep working on it then. By about the time we start playing Campaign for North Africa, perhaps I will have mastered it. I'm pretty sure I was playing the quarter slots, and I'm pretty sure she was too. I didn't think they had like the super low ball slot, like the nickel or penny slots there, but I could be wrong. I hate slot machines. It's just like I might as well throw the money away.
Artie, if they have a kitchen somewhere where I can use it, I'll cook you and Brian Gash an eggplant parmesan.
Well, I would eat your eggplant parmesan.
Yes, you will.
I would have no problems with that. Yeah, pretty much. Also, I'm a terrible gambler. I remember, folks, I've been to Vegas several times. Never did I win or lose a bunch of money. I always was going into that with the idea that this was entertainment money and it's going to get blown. And if I walk out with some, that's cool. One time I walked out with several $100s from the blackjack table, took that to a bachelor party. That went away immediately.
That's good.
And it wasn't my bachelor party.
$700, man, yay.
Another time I'm sitting there when I'm getting married in Vegas, I'm sitting there with a buddy of mine at the roulette table, and he was making fun of me because I was like, I'm like $40 up. I'm done. I'm ahead. I'm quitting while I'm ahead. So he's like, so So yeah, I'm not a bold gambler. I'm content to be aggressive at the wargame table.
Yes, moussaka is fantastic.
Jonathan Dyer mentions moussaka. You knew food was going to come up with a topic like this, folks. So yeah, it's pretty much the other night, if you go to Vegas and they'll like fill you with drinks all night for gambling, I've gotten more than my money's worth on the free liquor, if nothing else.
And do they skimp? Do they skimp on the booze, or
I didn't notice that they skimped on the booze? And this was at infamous low roller joint, the Circus, where you get like a 50-cent hot dog at the counter in the back. So it was not a high-end establishment, and I left. I did not enjoy the flight home first thing in the morning. Let me put it that way.
Oh God,
that sucked. So.
And Mark is taking a piss at me. Mark is taking a piss at me.
You got to get the free range organic eggplant, folks. It's not abused like the regular eggplant in those massive commercial eggplant farms.
I swear to God, I get my. We have farms here, so I get mine organic.
Yeah, exactly, Dustin. I felt like, hey, this is the time. So let's quit where we're ahead and go spread this money around this evening. So.
Did you go to the chicken farm?
No, we did not go to the chicken farm. I have no interest in doing that.
Yeah, but just to say hello to the ladies.
Yeah, the cool thing about roulette is you could play a couple spins of it without very much money, and if you manage to hit a number dead on, it's like 35-1. So you threw $10 in, and suddenly it's holy shit, I got a big pile of money now. So,
there's actual skill in playing roulette?
No, not at all. There is no skill. I mean, there's like certain bets that are better than others, but they're all, you're losing on all of them by the statistics. So,
yeah,
melee eggplants. Yes, in fact, I'm gonna find an eggplant dish that I can cook that tastes good, and I'm gonna call it melee eggplant in honor.
Just fry it in olive oil with salt and pepper. For God's sakes, man!
You could do that. Yeah, Circus is. I don't even know if it's still there. It was the famous low roller joint on the Las Vegas Strip. I was in a long distance relationship with a young lady who lived in Las Vegas at one point. So while we didn't spend a lot of time in the casinos while we went there, we would go to like the casinos to eat because the restaurants in Las Vegas are amazing. That's why I like Las Vegas, folks. It's the restaurants. It's got very little to do with the gambling. Although there's some actually very interesting museums in Vegas, too. The Imperial Palace, I have no idea if any of this is still there. It's been a long time. The Imperial Palace Auto Museum has a number of interesting vehicles that were owned by famous individuals, including, or at least driven containing famous individuals. There's a car of Roosevelt's that the dude shot up trying to assassinate Roosevelt, FDR Roosevelt. That car is there. There's at least one of Mussolini's cars. There's at least one of Stalin's cars. There's at least one of Hitler's cars. There's, of course, I think 2 or 3 different Elvis cars there. But to me, the most Vegas vehicle that they had at the Imperial Palace Auto Museum was Liberace's car. You should have seen this fucking thing. Holy cow. This is something else. It's something else. Yeah, giant crystal chandelier hood ornament. I mean, it's
I had money to burn.
Yeah,
man.
That's the kind of car Liberace would have, isn't it? So, dice apps instead of real dice. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I don't know. I would generally prefer to use real dice. And if somebody would try to bust out a dice app or something like that at the wargaming table, the first question I would ask them is, have you used Vassal? Have you seen how the pseudo-random number generator that Vassal uses works? And I mean, I'm being slightly facetious, but I mean, I would say we roll real dice at this table, son, would be in my best old man voice is what I would say to that. I'm not poo-pooing it necessarily. I mean, we're using a digital die roller for our online traveler campaign, for example. Although that's why I got the Dice Tower here, so I could roll my own damn dice. So, oh yeah, that's a good point too. If you're traveling and You set up. I don't know. I don't know, man. I could set this dice tower up right on the tray table on the airplane. I'd be rolling my own dice the whole time, annoying my neighbors. That might be
people
fun.
are gonna really love you. And yeah,
what's this fucking guy doing?
I'd rather have the crying baby.
Yeah. Show up at the craps table and tell them you're gonna roll your dice app. They'll throw. You'll be thrown out to land on your face. I've got some, of course I did buy, because it's me and I was in Vegas, so I did buy some Vegas dice. They never really, they're supposed to be very extremely true, and I'm sure they're machined. The dice they use at casinos are machined. They're not just cast and thrown into a tumbler like Chessex does. They are a higher grade of dice, but maybe you don't want casino Atlantic City on your dice either if you're playing D&D or something.
My God, Vegas is owned by the mobsters. You think they have clean dice?
It's not really. Well, whether they do or not, I mean, yeah. So, real dice, George, I'm on the same page with you. I will take the real dice, and maybe you can make a case that that's somewhat deterministic too, but it's determinism beyond the scope of anybody's ability to project. At least if you're rolling it in a dice tower. Now, if you got some of those soft rollers where they just kind of gently roll the die out of their hand so it lands on a specific face. Yeah, re-roll that die. You actually got to roll the die. You can't place the die.
Oh, they're actually going to tell you re-roll that die?
Oh, and in Vegas, no, you got to hit the back. You got to hit the back end of the thing. So you kind of have to, or it's not a roll. So my wife plays backgammon. She tried to teach me to play backgammon. I found it completely baffling. I don't know why. I can handle Goss. I couldn't handle backgammon. I don't know why. Somebody mentioned gravity dice, which are another metal machined dice, which are very nice. And I think they do have polyhedral dice now too, but I could be wrong. It might be somebody else doing that. And we actually looked into this for OCS as buying a set of 5 gravity dice, and it ends up costing like, I don't know, $80 or something. I think, nah, thanks. I'll use the MMP dice. Thank you. Have a nice day. So, well, not only this, but just the process that they're made with, it's a different kind of process. So if you go buy like your standard gaming dice, and then I'm including like every single dice you've ever gotten in a game, they're standard plastic dice. They are cast, usually with like the sharp edges and stuff. Like if you've seen the Game Science dice, they have got those real sharp edges because he doesn't tumble them. So then they throw them in a tumbler with an abrasive polish to round off the harsh edges. And, that's not necessarily an absolutely even process. Plus, because they're cast, there could, if the plastic's not hot enough or whatever, there could be voids in the dice. That happens. Somebody did a YouTube video about where they cut open a bunch of dice to see which ones had voids. And those will throw your dice off too. So I see. I do think... Dan Webb points out that regular dice do use gravity as well. Thank Mr. Newton for that. And Jeff Beeler asks how many, well, he's not asking it this way, have 10-sided dice made inroads on 6-sided dice in wargame design? I think so. That said, most war games have not moved on from 6-sided dice, but I can think of a bunch of games offhand that use 10-siders. What did I just get that uses 10-siders? I'm not sure I remember what it was, but I just looked at something that has 10-siders.
Gregory Smith's games use 10-sided die.
I can't speak for all of Greg's games, but the Hunters uses a bunch of different kind of dice that are even less frequently used in wargaming than D10s. Uses a 20-sided die, for example. There might be a D8 or a D12 in there as well. I'm not sure. As Mark, yeah, good point. So probably the Sun uses D10s. There are other examples. Pacific War uses D10s as well. I like D10s better because it's easier to do the math in your head. Or I should say, it's easier to kind of have a feel for the chance because every pip is just 10%, right? So GTS uses 10-sided dice as well. Jeff Beeler asks, how many folks use dice towers? You know what, Dan? Say something, and I'm going to do something.
How many people use dice towers? You know what? If I had one, I'd use it. But I don't know. It's fun, a dice tower. It's part of the l'ambiance.
I agree. Here's a poll, folks. I don't know how this is going to work at all, but here's a poll. Does this work? Yeah, here's a poll. Type 1 or 2 in chat whether you use a dice tower or not. One, it's a new StreamYard feature, folks, that we're playing with because I noticed it today. I use dice towers. I like dice towers. I will settle for a dice tray. I don't like just rolling dice on the table.
No.
For I think reasons because of wargaming, I don't like to roll dice on the table, and you'll know why, because I don't want to blow my whole front apart, which has happened. So I prefer the dice to be contained in the dice rolling area, and if that is in the bottom of a dice tower or in a dice tray, that's cool. So I have a couple of trays, none of which are particularly fancy, and a couple of dice towers, most of which are not particularly fancy. This one is made out of heavy cardboard, not the corrugated kind, the dense stuff, and it's light. I can carry it around. It's not too bulky. This is probably my dice tower that gets used the most. That said, I have a big wooden dice tower that I made. I bought at least 2 fancier-ish ones from either eBay or a couple other people. So I've got like 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 8 dice towers. So I got a lot.
Look at those stats move up and down, man. It's like the lottery.
Also, if your dice tower is well designed, it will prevent dice from bouncing off the table onto the floor where my back doesn't have to lean over to pick them up, which is also
well, I mean, the best answer is you don't want it to. Mark Herman said it. You don't want it to screw up all the chits on the table.
Yeah, exactly. So you may have seen, if you've seen pictures of some of the OCS guys that have those clear plastic tubes with like some elastic cord strung between them, and they'll have 5, usually 6 actually, regular like MMP size D6s in them, and to roll the dice, you just turn it over and the dice go all the way to the bottom. They're actually pretty nice, but the fellow who was making them stopped, and you'd have to make your own now. They wouldn't be difficult to make particularly. I have not tried sourcing the raw materials for such a project, however.
Actually, Jeff says dice pads. Dice pads are
dice pads. What is a dice pad? Dan appears to have either Dan's locked up or I'm locked up.
It's a dice, like a tray. You just roll it on a tray.
Like a box, like a dice tray.
Yeah.
Well, how is a dice pad different from a dice tray?
I don't know. You buy those pads with and you stick. You build them up by fastening them on the corners there.
You mean like this thing where it's a flat thing? I picked this one up free RPG day because it's a hexagon. And you can kind of snap the sides together. I mean, this is just a dice tray. I'm
assuming that's what he's talking about.
To be, pedantic about the terminology here. I mean, to me, this is a dice tray and not a dice pad. And this one's not that good because the snaps keep coming loose. So,
well, listen, Jeffrey's Canadian. We call it
a pad. Free. It was free. Well, if this is interesting Canadian-specific wargaming lingo, Dan, then I need to know about it. Because I seem to be on the air with Canadians an awful lot.
Yeah. And the thing is, with Jeffrey right now, he's sitting on his Chesterfield with his feet on the ottoman.
Do you guys still use Chesterfield?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, and we have asphalt and electricity. What the hell?
We have asphalt and electricity too. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. So in Canada, they call them dice pads, but we call them okay. I mean, this is news to me. I didn't know there was different special Canadian style of these.
I don't know, Danny. I call them get the thing.
The critical thing, though, for me and picking up a dice pad or dice tray or whatever we're calling them, is that it's shaped like a hexagon and not an octagon. I won't buy one of those.
We should talk about that. The superstition in wargaming.
Good call. It's nothing to do with superstition. It's got to do with standing up for proper polyhedrals. So, or polygons, I should say. Animistic uses an enclosed dice jar. So I've seen this done, but I've more often, because I've been to a couple ASL events over the years, have seen the whiskey glass used as the dice rolling implement. And it's funny to go into an ASL event and you'll hear the tinkling of the dice going into the glasses.
Yeah, but is it a Glencairn?
No, a Glencairn would be terrible for that. This is like a standard rocks glass. And I've got a couple of those too, because why not? Also, if like your footprint is really compact, that can be a good option because it doesn't take up much space on your table. But it takes up even less space than this dice tower does.
Yeah, but if you play with the people I play with, we always have some drinks, this and that. Near the end of the night, it's like, okay, I'm rolling this, and he just whips the goddamn dice on the tray.
Well, I have seen the adrenaline peak with or without the assistance of alcoholic beverages, to be completely honest.
Jesus. Okay. Really? So, someone would do that for real without being inebriated?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that person needs to be kicked in the knees.
No, that person is just excited to be there. That's all. Pool tables are pretty good. The big downside of a pool table is A, when your counters fall in the pockets, and then you got to figure that out. And B, your dice fall in the pockets, then you got to figure that out. But the dice might roll all the way down, counters won't. But you can't flip a pool table either. And, the table should be flippable, at least in principle, in my opinion. On the other hand, the one I built is, I'm not flipping it, I'll tell you that. Combat Commander Jerry, for Combat Commander, has an ASL whiskey glass he picked up at a tourney. I would be shocked if no ASL people were doing that. I mean, there's ASL, like special ASL dice towers that are really nice, but I have not procured any such thing.
People don't drink wine at these cons, man. It's all whiskey.
I didn't say that at all. But I mean, so like I'll take Winterfest as an example. I mean, I might well have some scotch at the end of the day, but I'm not like, double fisted scotch at noon while we're playing.
Makes me sick. I feel like throwing up.
I would like to actually play the game and not either not enjoy it because I had too much and don't feel good. And also I'd like to play competently, and too much of any substance is going to interfere with that. So I do not drink when gaming at all. I mean, if there's drinking games, of course, but that's different. Not that I've done that in a long time. I
was thinking of my ex-sister-in-law. She has Tourette's, and if she would go to a con and hear all that cling, 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 you'd hear farm sounds happening.
Oh, I've done this. I've also melted them with tiny blowtorches. And you've got to line your other dice up to witness the fate that failure brings to the dice. So crush them in vices, or burn them in little things, or just throw them in the trash. I'm not a fan of metal dice either. This is absolutely correct. I'll be happy. I don't really need to concentrate to clip counters. Most of the time when I'm clipping counters, not on the show, I'm watching something kind of TV thing anyway. So it's not like, it does not require 100% of my remaining brain cells to clip counters. So that's no problem. This must be the fella I'm thinking of, George. I figured you might. I'm not shocked that you knew who he was. Fella in Italy that makes these really nice ASL dice towers. They're really nice. They're fairly expensive, as I recall, and of course you have to have them shipped from Italy. But they're really nice. And for a dedicated ASL person who plays that as their main thing, I probably would do that. Good question. Grant was not the drinker his reputation would suggest if you read the Southern newspapers, however. Not that was limited to the South, but it was not.
Listen, if you're fighting a civil war, you're drinking.
Oh, this is classic, actually. This is exactly the kind of shenanigans that you want in this kind of thing, in my opinion. And of course, I do play at the superstitious thing. My dice set that I carry around to conventions, for example, I make sure that I have certain dice in there to impart their legendary karma to the rest of the dice. I've got a couple SPI dice in there. I've got a couple Avalon Hill dice in there, and I've got a couple of wooden Europa dice in there, for God's sake. And my my RPG set, which is a different set, has its own karma imparting special dice in there, including some Zaki, some very old Zaki stuff that I originally got. I still got my original dice from Powers and Perils back in the day, and they're really nice D10s. Actually, I used it for years in Rollmaster. But I've got a set of Chessex dice that Gary Gygax rolled once. Those travel with me.
Yeah, and
you are not allowed to touch them. No one is allowed to touch them unless your name is Gary. Then you get to touch the special Gary dice.
Molotov Teal makes an analogy. It's like a peanut butter with no jelly. Try peanut butter. Try peanut butter and cream cheese. Try it.
There are absolutely people I know who do drink when gaming, and their performance does not seem to suffer from it. Mine does, so I'm not doing that. You are welcome to do that. In fact, I would encourage my opponents to drink heavily during the game and make stupid decisions. So,
well, yeah.
This is actually an interesting point that Jeff Beeler touches on. He's got a friend who makes custom dice prisons with a laser cutter and sells them on, I think he means Etsy here, but maybe XT is the Canadian version. Just that, the ability for people to like make stuff themselves and like sell it to everybody anywhere, that's a technological thing, right? And I've bought things from Etsy. I've got those huge counter trays I bought for Fed Empire. They are 3D printed counter trays. I'll do a video on them at some point once I've finished the project. And they're bigger than my 3D printer could print, even if it was working. And they are perfect for Fed Empire and Starfleet battles. So I bought those for that. So I bought stuff from Etsy for gaming. You can also get, things like dice towers and dice bags and stuff like that. And something, if you find something you like, I don't know, why not? That's where I bought all. It may or may not have been Etsy, but I think it was. I bought some Traveler stuff from Etsy too.
You know what, Molotov Teal? Try peanut butter, cream cheese, and pickles. Dill pickles.
I don't know that the peanut butter cream cheese. I'll buy that works, but pickles.
Oh, that works 100%. What's the matter?
I don't know. I've got peanut butter and cream cheese. So what do you put this on? Or do you just like throw it all in a bowl and mix it up?
Yeah, you put it on white trash bread.
Okay. Well, I don't have any of that bread, so. This is funny. I get this I get this a lot too, to be fair. Peanut butter and creamy peanut butter and Braunschweiger. I don't know, man.
That's Braunschweiger.
Liverwurst.
That's disgusting.
I like liverwurst.
Yeah, I know, but
most people don't. So,
that's why the Germans have a great cuisine.
This is a good point that Mike makes here. When I got the 3D printer, day one, right, and for the remainder of most of my, until it broke. Which it's fixable. I just have to get to it. I almost exclusively used it to make stuff for gaming, right? Different storage trays and different other things. Patrons get the models on at the $5 level and above. Those are still all there, and I've got a lot of stuff, including dice towers and the little card slings and a bunch of other things. I'm not sure. I may have printed a couple of things that weren't game related.
Remember 2 weeks ago we had a trivia game with prizes.
Yes.
This is one prize this guy's getting. The second prize.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, that's pretty cool. You got a little thing to play music in there too?
He's got to buy a theremin.
It comes with a complimentary theremin, folks.
All hand painted, all done. That's all hand done. Damn it. He's getting
I
it.
like rye bread, mustard, and onions for my liverwurst sandwich. Personally, raw onions
yeah.
sliced very thin. And no, I do not need the red onions. I like the onions that taste like onions. Oh, there are many delicacies in both countries, folks. Many delicacies that are good food. Oh, that's pretty good. Look at that. That's pretty cool, Dan. I got to tell you.
Thanks, man. I had fun doing this. He indulged me. My creative juices were flowing.
Good. I believe this. It's on my bucket. Going to Germany, going to Italy are on my bucket list of things to do. What is the topic of the diorama?
That the Italian Bersaglieris were pissed when the Germans made them do
war crimes?
No, no, supply.
Okay. In that case, we may need you to be the pictorial director for our upcoming campaign for North Africa experience. You can do a little diorama of the Italians boiling the pasta in the mess tent.
That's a challenge.
I like Wurst in general. Weisswurst is good. Knockwurst is good. Good Knockwurst is good.
Yeah.
That's true of anything, though.
Yeah, the Germans, they got some good sausages.
War crabs like peanut butter, cream cheese, and pickles. Cream cheese is more versatile than a lot of people think. I will say that. Not sure it's going to stand up to pickles. I got to tell you. I don't know.
Pickles they're fantastic.
Well, Dan, when I come visit you in the Great White North, you'll have to make me a peanut butter, cream cheese, pickle, and Braunschweiger sandwich. How about that?
But I don't know about the Braunschweiger.
You've had liverwurst, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like liverwurst?
Yes.
Well, then I'm not seeing the problem here. I don't know about peanut butter. That sounds crazy to me. But I don't like. It's really perfectly acceptable, folks, to be candid about it. It's perfectly acceptable to put whatever you want on pizza. I think pineapple on pizza is gross. Part of that may be because they never seem to use like fresh pineapple. They always seem to use some kind of disgusting, oversweetened canned pineapple, and that could be a problem. I like anchovies. I love pineapple too, just not on pizza.
Yeah, anchovies.
I don't like anchovies on pizza.
Well, it depends, man.
Oh, it probably does if you get really high quality anchovies, but like Papa John's does not have high quality anchovies. So
what the hell's a Papa John?
Papa John's is a pizza chain famous for its low quality cardboard flavored pizza here in the United States.
Jesus. No, make your own pizza, Artie, and then spare the ingredients.
Well, it's easy to so there are certain types of pizza that are pretty easy to get right at home, like a pan pizza. If you have like a big cast iron skillet, you can make a very credible pan pizza like that. But if you're trying to make like New York style pizza, it's hard because your oven doesn't get hot enough. Unless you've got like some kind of chef oven or something like that.
160 is 644 new garlic chicken pizza. Oh, pizza is a simple dish. 3 ingredients. Get out of here.
No, this is perfectly fine. My Italian aunts used to make a wonderful white pizza that was just delicious. A seafood pizza is really good.
Yes.
So,
what you would use? What you use? Seafood, basil, a bit of parsley, no cheese.
No cheese on the seafood pizza.
Yeah,
I've had it with cheese.
No cheese.
So you're using like a cream sauce?
No, it's a white pizza. Basically, you're doing like a focaccia type thing.
Right, but there's different kinds of white pizzas. Sometimes they have sauce. My great aunts did not have sauce, but like a seafood pizza that I've had was on like a white garlic cream sauce, and it was
a bechamel type thing.
It had I think calamari, shrimp, and something else, and it was fucking delicious.
I'm sure.
Absolutely. I think Domino's makes better pizza than Papa John's personally. Yeah, but the one I had cheese on it. It may have just been Parmesan.
Well, come here then. Don't go there. I'm not paying attention to my cat, and the cat's knocking the shit over.
Mm-hmm. You like calamari, Dan?
Of course.
Of course.
One of my favorite recipes that I do is I take the squid body and I stuff it with itself, tentacles and all that, with smoked caciocavallo cheese and a bit of prosciutto. Let me tell you.
I would eat that.
And you bake it, and then it's like, oh, God help. You ever have calamari soup, like with a tomato base?
I'm not sure that I have had calamari in soup.
Well, it's not a soup. It's more of a
sauce. Because then, yes.
Well, it's a sauce, but you eat it in a bowl because there's a lot of calamari. It's delicious. My mom used to make that. Holy moly!
Justin went to a mac and cheese pizza place. So that sounds great. And boy, don't be on the Atkins diet for that, huh? I have actually had cauliflower crust pizza that was pretty good. I was rather shocked. But what's that place called? It's not Donato's. It's Donato's. Donato's cauliflower crust pizza is actually pretty good. Shockingly good.
I just saw on Facebook, man, that Domino's is making a pizza and the crust, there's a hot dog in the crust. Someone has to die because of that.
I'm sure that the Irish have their delicacies as well. I talked my very Italian and very unwilling mother into making colcannon for St. Patrick's Day this year, and she loved it. So I guess we're making colcannon now. I mean, it's not complicated. You just mix some greens into your mashed potatoes. So,
I think Molotov said that us humans are cruel because I said you stuff the calamari with itself. I mean, sausages, for God's sakes. You take pork and you stuff it with its intestines.
That's true. Thousands of years, people have been making sausage, folks. It is a time-honored food that is good for curing or fresh consumption. So
I'm telling
all cultures have something that you could call sausage that I'm aware of. So, all right. The Domino's board of directors was like, how can we make people shit even more?
No, but seriously, man, a hot dog and a goddamn pizza.
Well, Meandering Mike says that's Pizza Hut. And that's when we get pizza, it's usually Pizza Hut because it's close. We don't get it delivered. We go get it, but it's close and it's kind of cheap. So,
and it's not bad. It's not bad for the price. Let me tell you,
it's for the price. It's not bad. It's too greasy. Their New York style pizza is not New York style pizza. It's incredibly soggy and weird. But it's edible, right? Even lame pizza is still pizza, right? Oh, chase down with the ouzo. Yeah, there you go, Dan. You're an ouzo man, Dan?
Yeah, I light it on fire and I snort it.
Oh, that sounds like a fun time. Let me tell you.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I think my favorite shellfish, above shrimp, above lobster, above crab, all that stuff. I think my favorite shellfish is clams.
I love clams anymore, man. I am intolerant. I puke. I know it's a bad thing because spaghetti with clams, man. Holy Jesus.
Yeah, linguine with clam sauce. Clam chowders are good. Clam bake is something that we did as if I don't know why an Italian American family would have a clam bake, but we did every year. Every year my mom says, oh, we should do that, and no one actually wants to organize that. But so, all right, folks, I think we're out of time here. It is 8:33, so I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. The result of our poll, let's see, is we can stop the poll now. So 61% do use a dice tower, and 12 communists do not.
That's not a big stretch.
Those are our poll results for our scientific study. The paper will be out in Nature next week. So, folks, it's been a great show. We'll be here next week. Everybody have a great rest of the night. There's Georgie.